The class, we're very fortunate that we have so many people that are studying so many different subjects beyond this. And one of our members, Sandra Stewart, she was telling me about a technique she's been studying called healing meditation. So I've asked her to speak to us for a few minutes about this because it's very important to give you an idea of what we're doing and what other people are doing. So Sandra, please.
Thank you, Gary.
Very welcome.
First of all, thanks to all of you who come every week, or most every week. You've stayed the course because it really makes a difference to me to be with like-minded people. And I hope I've helped some of you, and I know you've helped me in lots of ways. So that's my official thank you. Tonight I'm going to talk about the sacred healing meditation. And this is something that I just took some training in. It was created by two MDs who left their practices and began work in transformational healing. And then a Unity minister got a hold of it, and he added the spiritual, prayerful part of it. So Gary and I were talking at how related these practices are to what we're doing. It's very interesting to me when things come at the same time in my life, how that all works out without my planning or control. So anyway, if we were doing this, I would be the the facilitator, and the person who's coming to work with me. I do not work on you. I do not work for you. I am working with you. This is a shared experience between two people. And some people would come in and say, oh, I've got headaches, I've got this, I've got that. From the people who've been doing this for a while, it doesn't matter. This is about healing, and what's going to be healed is going to be healed. And for some people, it's emotional. For some people, it's actual physical healing. So we would begin with a prayer. We would invite God, Creator, whomever, whatever you wish to call that power, into this room. And I would have cleared the room and claimed the space already. Then the person would be on a massage table, fully clothed. When I work with my family members, they come in their pajamas, and then they go home right away. They said they're so relaxed that they just want to go home and sleep. But anyway, we've asked God to come in, and we are following these power points, energy points, in a spiral, if you've noticed. And so it's hands-on touching if you prefer. You don't have to do it that way. You can touch the person, or you can just touch. You can be close to the area. It still works. One of the things that is so wonderful about this is you can feel the energy change in the room. As we start, there's a real quiet, healing energy going on. And this is for both people. Both of us are in agreement that we are holy, and we're whole, and we're sacred. And for me, that was a whole new experience. Somebody had to teach me that. And I remember when John Webster, if anybody remembers him, he said, God sees you as whole and complete. And I was like the RCA dog that goes, what? I didn't see myself that way. So part of this is we see each other as God sees us. So as I'm touching these areas, we're getting the energy to flow again. I love the way this is explained. Feet is about understanding and grounding. And it has one for each point. I remember the throat, feeling my throat was sore because I wasn't saying what I was supposed to say. So this has been very helpful to me. And as I say, you're working together with another person. I'm not doing it for you. We're doing it together. We're asking also, we're not asking the prayers, which are very brief in this, are not about giving us new gifts. We're asking that those things that are not, those things that aren't in our highest interest will fall away. And that's been, I love the way that's stated, because so much of the work I've done with Gary and others, it hasn't been a magic wand and suddenly I'm cured, healed, whatever. It's been a shift. It's been a gradual thing for me. I don't have the same thoughts. If I have the same thoughts, I don't hang on to the same thoughts. I've noticed in my life that so much is different. And that's the objective of this. So a person may leave and feel like they've been cured of something physical. It could be emotional, mental, whatever. The beauty of this is that two people are holding each other in the highest regard. I'm the active and the facilitator. They're the receptive. So does anybody have any questions? The other part of this that Gary talks about too is gratitude. We start with gratitude. In the middle we have gratitude. And there's a time when I finish the spiral, the first time I do the spiral, and then there's like 4 minutes or 5 minutes I sit and I hold this person in high regard. I see them as Jesus sees them, as God sees them, whomever you want to claim. And then I do the spiral regressively backwards, so it's complete. The other thing is I do this from my heart. I have one hand on my heart, and my other hand is touching these areas, except for the knees and feet. So we finish with the person, the receptive, has their hand on their heart, and their other hand, as Gary taught us, in spirit. And you're encouraged, if you're the receptive, that after this, at night when you go to sleep, you have the same position, because you have a spiritual memory. And you'll remember this. You'll remember this healing.
How long does it take?
About 35 minutes. Okay.
Good.
You're really
I've always thought it fascinating that different ideas are all the same. I also think it's fascinating that so many different ideas come through at the same time, so we all get this information in one form or another, and we're all trying to utilize it. Okay? Sandra, thank you. Thank you for that. From this point on, tonight I want us to kind of separate as pairs, and we're going to start doing some of the work with each other so that we can feel what it's like as we're working on each other specifically. But I want to go back through the 5 steps because there are some people that haven't been here. I want to make sure we're very clear because starting next week, we're going to go back to what we did last year about not just manifesting, but looking into the future and making sure that you can identify what the answers are in the future. To do that, you have to stay very neutral. So next week, I'm going to ask you to bring a pair of keys or a pair of quarters. I've got a pair of quarters, and on one side of them, I've got a buffalo on one and a pheasant on the other. Okay? The keys just have a difference of numbers. Okay? But you can use a magic marker or whatever you want on one of them, just as long as you can identify them. We're going to start using our abilities to manifest correct answers. But I want you to start thinking about something right now. And this is very important. No matter what it is that we need an answer for, I don't care what it is. If we jump forward in time, like we're talking about 4:30, whatever it is, whatever time you're looking for, at 4:30, if I can imagine my mind jumping forward, at that point, all the answers are known. They're all known. I don't care what is being done to the stocks. I don't care who's doing it. I don't care what is happening in any type of manipulation or information coming in. At 4:30, if that's the time I'm looking at, then we know in the future what the answers are. We know it without doubt. Everything in the future has a time. It has to occur at some point. And if we jump far enough ahead, we know the answers because they already occurred. Our spirit knows that answer. We're jumping into the future, but the future is the present. And the present's easy for us. The present is very easy for us. Do you understand what I'm trying to say right now? If we start thinking that we're really attempting to just talk to our spirit rather than going through all types of gyrations to get to the future, we'll have our answers and we'll be able to do it very simply. It's made a huge difference and a huge improvement for the things I'm doing. It takes the stress off. Yeah? But we'll see more of that next week. But just think about this, that everything is already known. We don't have to find anything. All we have to do is ask our spirit if we jump far enough ahead and it will tell us. It's already known. Make sense? Okay. So we'll talk more about this next week, but let's go back to what we were doing. Healing is a form of manifesting, because we've talked about manifesting health, wealth, and prosperity. We said the purpose of the class has always been about our independence. Our independence comes, if it's going to be healthy independence, it's going to come from having the health, wealth, and relationships that we want based upon a relationship to the divine. Right? Otherwise, we're not independent. We're still a slave. Okay? So, how do we get there? Well, part of getting there is preparing ourselves so we can reduce the tension and stress in our bodies. We've said that trying to predict the future, jumping ahead, and I don't care what mode of thinking you have, if you have doubt, if you have fear or anger, guess what? You're not going to get the right answers. So we're using the 5 steps to prepare us so that we can get rid of this and change what we've been thinking, change how we respond. It does work. It will take time. I haven't found the magic wand either. Maybe one of you has found it, but not me. Okay? And it will take some time. But if we do it, I've been doing it every night and every morning for the last 2 months, and it really has helped in a lot of different areas. Now, I still have to go further with it. I want to, actually. In fact, first time in a long time, I actually want just to go to bed early so I can manifest this and see what the next day is going to be. It's amazing because it's wonderful to open up the door the next day and expect wonderful things to happen. And they are happening. Okay? So let's go back through the 5 steps. Okay, step 1. And for those of you who don't have this information, I handed out 3 sheets and you can get them from Mary. Okay, so better just to listen right now and you can get those sheets later. Mary will give you that information. So step 1 is claiming our space, kind of like what we were doing with the meditation, healing meditation. Claiming your space is, if you're not sure about that, well, we're in the room right now, so obviously it's this room. You could extend it past this room, into the building, beyond the building. I don't care how far you take this. You can extend it into every location that you think you will be or will be that day. In your mind, you see all those things. That's your space that you're claiming, and that's our primary space. As small or as large as you want. I just want to make sure that if I'm doing my work in my office, I don't want someone out there, the mailman or someone like this, walking by with negative thoughts, and they're going to affect me. So I want to be far enough away from anyone or anything that could affect me in my space that's mine. Okay, so I literally see that space. I also include the world. So the world is my secondary space. My primary space is what I'm specifically going to deal with that day. Is that clear to everyone? Okay? So that's step 1.
Claim it mean?
Claim it?
What does that mean?
I own that space.
Okay.
I can walk through that space. I can do whatever I want in that space with impunity, and I know that I'm not going to be interfered with.
Okay.
I literally mean that.
So you say claim, not clean. I thought you
No.
said clean
Well,
even in
clean
your
will
video.
be the second.
Okay.
Clean will be the second.
Clean,
Okay.
okay.
So second step is clean that space, right? And we have a series of steps that we did for cleaning that space. Again, that's on the handout. So what I've been doing now I'm cleaning it in magnitudes of 100,000 at a time. Okay, I started off at 1, like, okay, for the benefit of those people that weren't here. I claimed my space, okay? And so now I imagine in step 2 that I'm clearing that space. So I imagine the hand of God is at the bottom of the earth. I'm up here somewhere. And I actually imagine in my mind that the hand of God comes through that space, sweeping everything in that cleaning statement past me out of that space. Now I started off doing it one at a time. I went up to 10, then I went up to 100, then 1,000, and now I'm up to 100,000. And I've gone up to over 2 million now, and based on 100,000. Okay? So if you want to go deeper into who and what you are and want to clean out that space, I would suggest that you start cleaning in multiples of at least 10. Okay? Am I clear about that? Roger?
Yeah, Gary, I haven't been putting a number limit on it. I've just been asking all of them to be put in one big bundle and then throw the bundle out.
Great, if that works, and if that works, but here's the test, I don't care how little you do or how much you do, at the end of that, you should feel much more relaxed. Much more relaxed. Now, if you're not, keep clearing. And if that works great for you, Roger, that's fantastic. For me, I don't know, I'm hardcore. Okay? 2 million, all right? So, that seems to work right now. All right? But in any case, that's what's working for me. All right? All right, so am I clear about that?
So basically, so we clean every time we think we need to clear.
Every time.
Clear.
Okay, and that's a very good point, David. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. So in the morning, early in the morning, I go through these steps. I've cleared my space, maybe for me 2 million times. Now I'm calm, I'm relaxed, I come into the office. Now suddenly something makes me upset. I don't care what it is. What I would do then is, immediately I would start cleaning again. I want to clean that space again, because something invaded my space, something got past my shields. I don't care what it is, or who it is, or what the situation is. But I'm now unsettled, so I start cleaning it again until I'm relaxed. Until I'm relaxed. It's that simple. So I go to the step 2 frequently, okay, if I need to. So far, it's been holding very well. It's been holding very well. Okay, so am I clear about that? Okay. All right, so that's step 2. Step 3. I put myself in that space that I cleared, and now I let the energies of the divine through me, all the way through the earth, all the way back, and now in step 3, my energetic self and this circle is not there, so the energy is just coming back in kind of like an oval shape, just going through this, always being amplitude by what I call heaven. I'm never running out of energy. It's always helping me. I never have to use my own energy because there's something in the universe that I call heaven that's going to help me. Never have to worry about it. Making sense? Step 3. Now I'm doing this, releasing the joy and gratitude that we were talking about. That's a common concept about the gratitude. The joy is something that I think is very important. It's helped me get things moving a lot faster, to manifest a lot quicker, if I not just have gratitude, yes, about all the good things I have, but I'm having joy about it. And I've said one of the best things that brings me joy is the fact I don't have to do it all. That I have celestial beings around me and maybe inside me, definitely inside me, that want to help me, that are begging to help me if I turn over control. As hard as that sounds. And that's not easy at times. But it's amazing when you do that, how much you can relax, even in spite of the fact it looks like the ship is sinking. It's amazing. Okay? So joy and gratitude, extremely important. That joy seems to power the gratitude and makes things go much more effectively in this diagram.
I read something that said to practice feeling joy.
Right.
And say affirmations that, you know, I know how to feel joy, and things that really just bring it to you.
Right.
Or I accept it. And it's just, it helps me to get in touch with it more.
I agree. I definitely agree. And for, I guess, a lot of people, or at least some people, it may be very difficult for them to have anything that they feel joyful about. And we heard one person say that in here already. But I think you've got to practice this. As they say, fake it till you make it, at the very least. But it is amazing how when you start saying thank you, like gratitude, and happy or joyful, keep saying those words over and over, how it starts stimulating those feelings, at least in me. I mean, there's no way on earth if I start saying thank you that I can get upset about anything for very long. I can't. Because I've tried it. It doesn't work, as long as I keep saying thank you.
Yesterday when we were talking about what's in 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, this is where you had said that you bring in your statement
Very
into
good.
number 3 as well.
Very good. And thank you. Thank you for saying it. I've asked people to make a 2015 statement of what they'd like to manifest. Okay, their energy statement about manifesting what they want. I don't care what it is. Remember we said prosperity. This is our 2015 prosperity statement. And that involves health, wealth, and relationships. I would encourage you, it's not too late. Make your statement about what you want in 2015. You don't have to make it long or elaborate. You can use bullet points. You can draw a circle around your bullet points, and you can call it P for prosperity. So you don't have to remember it, you don't have to go through it, you don't have to repeat it over and over and over again. But as you let this energy go through, and in step 3, for 5 minutes or so, you're getting really good at this now, you can do it in a minute or two. But roughly after a minute or two, you can let the P statement, my prosperity statement, join in with this energy that's coming through with joy and gratitude, and let that come through also. You can let it come through at that point. Okay? Now you can put it in anywhere you want. I'm just trying to make this logical, and it seems to work well for me. So am I clear about that?
So you're giving permission to
Yes.
God and angels to bring you your peace statement.
Got it.
Is that it?
That's it. Everything that we allow into the circle, we gave it, we allowed it, and we gave it permission. Okay? We did that. So am I clear about that? Because that's very important also, what we want to manifest. All right, so that's step 3. And how long do you stay in step 3? Well, that's up to you, but you guys are moving through very quickly. So a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes at the most now. Used to be 5 to 15 minutes when we started this, so good job. All right, so step 4. Step 4 is we're looking at this oval of energy as it's moving around. I look at my energetic self in step 4 like I'm looking at my energetic image. I don't see exactly the way I look, I just see a form of me, opposite me, and I'm looking at what I would say the brain, heart, and spirit areas are. Now, you use the chakras, but there's no difference. We're still doing the same thing. Brain, heart, and spirit are just a collection of the chakras too. I didn't want to bring all that in. I just thought it would be simply called brain, heart, and spirit. Okay? So we're looking at those 3 areas, and we want them very bright, all 3 of them very bright, and all 3 of them equally bright. Why? Why do we want that? Why?
They're aligned, to be in alignment.
Right. Everything needs to be in alignment. Because if I'm going to focus my energy, and my spirit wants me to have whatever that is for prosperity, my brain's saying, yes, 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 you can have it. My heart's going, no, 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 we're going to have real problems. It isn't going to work. And if we do get it, we're not going to be happy with it. So it does take a few minutes to do that. Again, you guys are getting good, maybe a minute or so. You can do this. Okay? So let me move on to step 5. Step 5 is you imagine that there is an energetic circle that your energetic self is standing on. And on that energetic circle, I would encourage you always to start with yourself first. Now, you don't have to stay with just yourself. You can spend 5 or 10 minutes projecting your joy and gratitude, projecting what we call character. Remember what we said about character last week? For those of you who weren't here, let me go back to this. Whatever we're going to achieve, our success, our happiness and joy about having it, depends upon our character. So, I view character as I deal with fear. So my character is I want to be, and I allow myself to be more courageous, more decisive, more bold, whatever else I want that's in line with God and my purpose. That's what I've written down as my character statement. And we did that last week about writing a character statement. It can be a few words to it, like bullet points. And I call that SP, or SC in this case, SC, strength of character. Strength of character. Okay. So, when I'm going to step 5, I'm just projecting my joy and gratitude. I'm projecting my statement of SC onto myself, and I'm just absorbing it onto my physical self standing in that circle. I'm just absorbing it, knowing that I'm changing. Now, you don't have to do it my way. You don't have to imagine that you're actually putting your physical self next to your energetic self onto that circle. If you want to, you can just keep the energetic self just as it is, and you can allow that SC statement to come on through here if you want to. I'm just trying to tell you what I do because in my mind it's very important for me to know that I am getting better, that my character is improving. That if I'm doing that work, I want to see the benefits of it, and every so often I catch myself actually improving. I'd like to see that. So I'm purposely focusing on that, and that's the way I look at myself doing that. It helps me improve. Now you can do it any way you want. I'm just giving you ideas about how I do it. Am I making sense? Lee, does that make sense? Okay. Now, how often do you do this? Well, I would encourage you to do it before you go to bed. And if you can't finish all 5 steps, tell yourself when you start this process that your conscious and subconscious minds will take over, so all through the night you're finishing all 5 steps. All 5 steps through the night. Okay? And then in the morning, I consciously will take time. I will lie in that bed, I will go through all 5 steps in my mind, I do it, and then when I'm finished with the 5th step, I do a test. I do a test. I think about the worst thing that I have to face. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is, but I bring it up, what I consider the worst thing. And if I can look at that objectively, if I can feel neutral, that I've done all 5 steps long enough and well enough so that I'm ready to get out of bed and move on. Now, if I have some feelings about that, or some dread about that, or something not neutral, I go back through this for a little bit longer until I'm neutral. It does work. It really does neutralize things. Works very well.
So for those of us who've been around since last year and before, step 5 was bringing other people into the circle.
Sure.
Will you address where you are
Okay.
at this point?
Well, last week I encouraged people to work on yourselves first. Why? Why is it important to work on yourself first? Why?
People are drawn to you if you are the character that
Right.
you want to be.
Right.
They come to you instead of you going to them.
That's true. It's been interesting that since I've been encouraging some of the patients to do this on the table as I'm working on them, and they're just working on themselves, now it's these energies of spirits and other entities want to come in. They want to come onto that circle, even though they're only working on themselves, but they're like banging on the door. It's even hard for me to do my work at times because they're drawing in so much around them now. Now before we were working on many others in different situations, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So what I'm encouraging you to do is, here's what I'm encouraging you to do. I don't care if you want to spend all of your time working on you. I know I need it for me right now, but I'm also realizing that a lot of other people need help out there. So what I would do is spend at least 5 or 10 minutes working on you, just you in this circle. Just projecting that joy, that gratitude, your SC statement onto you. Then if you want to bring others on, bring them on. But here's the test. The test is if you bring other people, places, or things onto that circle, and now if you're having trouble focusing, really keeping your focus on what you're doing, then they're extracting that and they should not be on your circle. Put fewer of them on, or fewer situations on. Do you understand what I mean? So if that breaks your focus, then go back to yourself if you have to, until you're ready to go forward with more people, places, or things. Again, is that clear to the people that haven't been here? Am I clear? Yeah. Now this energy works. It's amazing how well it works. In fact, I hadn't seen a person again. I just did this for less than 2 minutes. I was just thinking about, I had on the circle a person I hadn't seen in maybe about 4 weeks. Thought of him for just a couple of minutes. True story, less than half an hour later, on my cell phone, guess whose phone number it is? Just 2 minutes. And then I went off about my business and did other things. I wasn't even thinking about him at that point. And then I get the message, I'm thinking of you, Gary. Okay, well, it works. It works very well. And the point that I'm trying to make is that as you energize yourself and get really, really purified, is the best way I can say this, you'll be able to get things moving much faster. Because I guarantee you, when you start dealing with your quarters or your keys or whatever else you want to do to calibrate yourself, it is amazing how you start feeling, for me, fear, maybe for some of you anger, when you have to start making predictions. It's amazing. This helps neutralize that. It also helps for me to realize that as I'm doing this, and I'm looking into the future, it's no big deal, because the future, if I go far enough in time, has already occurred, and we already know the answers. It's very simple when you start thinking about it. All of this is about our thinking process. All of this. Everything starts in our energetic field. And we start forming our physical from the energetic field. It doesn't work the other way around. This creates the physical. So the question I always have for people is, how much do you want it? How much do you want the life that we're talking about, the independence? Okay? The prosperity. In spite of a lot of uncertainty out there, how much do you want it? So tonight, we're going to work on that. So what I would do is this. We're going to have pairs of people. Now, if you haven't been here, then find someone who has been here, who knows the 5 steps. But we'll work in pairs. And we can sit opposite each other, so you hold your hands together. One of the 2 people, I would suggest, because I want to get through this quickly, one of the 2 people should go step 1. Are both of you finished with step 1? Step 2? Are both of you finished with step 2? Trying to move together as a group. When you get to step 5, put that person and you on the circle. So each of you are working on the other. And feel the energy that you're giving the other person. Feel that energy of joy and gratitude and whatever else you want to send to them.
But we're doing it at the same time.
At the same
We're
time.
working step 1, step 2, we're
That's
doing
right.
it.
We want to be, yes, we want to make sure that we're staying together.
Correct.
Okay? So one of the 2, take charge, and you count off the steps. Make sure that both of you are ready to move on to the next step. Okay? I think we can do this pretty fast. And we'll do it as a group before we leave, if we have time. Okay, as a group. Okay? Can we do it? Here's what I do. In that clearing statement that is on paper, what I do is, when I get to step 2, all I do is, I just imagine in my mind that that clearing statement is what is being utilized by this hand to sweep through and remove everything that's there. The purpose of that hand is to magnify that clearing statement and let it work. That's the purpose of the hand. Or whatever else you want that will work for you, whatever image that will work for you. So am I clear about this?
That would be good.
Clear?
So we don't have to clear there were about four things in that circle that you gave us. It doesn't really matter.
Well, we don't need to learn those, we don't need to memorize those. Our spirit soul wants it knows. We just use the clearing statement. Okay? It's that simple. It's that simple.
Yes.
Good.
And it was very empowering.
Was it more empowering doing it this way as a pair than it was by you doing it for yourself?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
That's right.
Oh, tremendously.
Yeah.
And it is such a sense of how much is out there,
Right.
too, in everybody, if it's spirit to spirit.
That's right. That's exactly my point. Anyone else? Any other ideas?
We felt, the 3 of us together, we just felt such strength and such a connection together, and the energy just kept going up and up and up and up.
It was, I don't know what it was. I mean, tears came to my eyes. I don't know what was.
But you
it was
can
like-
actually, good, very good.
Weird, yeah.
That's the power of focus. Okay, very good. Good job. Anyone else? Anyone else? For those of you who aren't familiar with this, you may want to exchange phone numbers with the person you were working with maybe over the course of the week. You could call them, maybe talk to them. Maybe, I hope everyone here will work on their partner during the course of this week. Okay? But as a group, why don't we get together, we'll hold our hands as a group, okay? And let's do this. What do you want as a group? What do you want now to change for the better? What? As a group, what do you want to change for the better? Okay. Well, certainly an invitation, right?
I play my broken circle there.
Want to get in?
Put a hand on someone's shoulder here. There we
Are we
go.
all connected?
Three seats for fun.
Hands good, we got everything connected. Okay, good.
You get
All right,
extra
so
here.
so world peace, let's go certainly with this country. Okay, what else do you want?
Prosperity,
For all of us, right?
yes.
Okay, so let's-
Independence for all of us.
Independence, okay.
Freedom.
And that we're using it correctly, right?
And good health,
All right, that's all, okay, that's good. Anything else?
good health.
All right? All right, so let's do it. Let's just start on that, and we already have the joy and the gratitude as part of the function of what we're doing. So let's go to step one as a group. Clean your space. So now we literally are going around the world. Okay? Also, focus carefully on your immediate areas, where you work, your home, where we are now. Okay? So focus on that. Let's go to step two now. Let's clear all of that. Okay. Step three now, we'll let the energy through. Okay. The energy of the divine, with joy and gratitude that it's working. That we don't have to do all of this ourselves. As it's going into and through the earth, let everyone on the earth recognize that they're being changed. They have the options for doing that. Let them feel the joy that you're having, the gratitude you're having. Imagine this is spreading all over the earth right now. And especially in your locations. Okay, let's go to step four now. We have our energetic circle, and on that energetic circle, we're putting ourselves individually, our energetic form. Let's make sure that brain, heart, and spirit are unified, strong, and energetic. Okay, let's go to step five. We're putting ourselves, each one of us, on our energetic circle individually, and we're putting then the group of us on there also. And now you can let that spread out as far as you want to include the world too. It's up to you. We're spraying all of that with our joy, our gratitude, with our character statement. Now keep the energy going through, but how many of you sense the Middle East now?
I do.
Yeah. How many others sensing the Middle East?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very strong. It's almost as though these radical Muslims want to put down their guns, but they don't know what to do with them. So let's give them a choice. Let's give them an option. They can throw them down and walk away, never return. Give them reasons for doing that. Send them the joy and gratitude that you're feeling right now. Now it's extending from those that are using firearms to those that are driving tanks, heavy equipment. Can you sense that now? Israel's coming up now. Let's send them the joy and gratitude, and let's send them the sense of security to know that they're not going to be wiped out. You don't have to go through another war, that we can have stability and peace in that part of the world. many now are picking up our own nation now? How many of you now are picking up this country? Any of you?
Now that you
Yes.
said it, yes.
Yes. Okay, so let's send it to our populace that there's plenty for everyone. That every person in this country has the right to have joy, happiness, a great job, a great life, and liberty and independence. Sandra, how about if you finish it off with a short prayer? And send it through the entire world as she's saying these words, please.
Dear brothers and sisters, we are all children of God. We are all divine love. We are all made in God's image. We are all goodness. Creator, help us to remember that we are goodness, and that we are brothers and sisters, and that we are divine love.